What is up? What is up, awesome people of the internet? Guys, happy Monday. We have made it through the weekend, through all the winter storms and the snowy days and the cold. We've made it through. Wherever you are in the country, you've probably been hearing a lot about snow. Uh, there's been some places that don't get a lot of snow. They got a lot of snow. And yeah, it has affected a lot of women's basketball games as well. We saw games canceled, outright canceled. We also saw games that moved their times, and a whole lot more. So anyway, a lot of stuff happened this weekend. So without further ado, let's get into it. And as we do, let me know. Did your place of residence get a lot of snow? Let me know in the comments, because Wheat in the Morning starts right now.
Are you ready?
Are you ready?
Are you ready? Ready, set, go.
All right, guys. Thank you for joining the show. Thank you so much. And again, happy Monday. I had a fantastic weekend. How about you? I know it was cold. I know it was snowy. But I had a great weekend. And we did see a great weekend in women's basketball. We didn't see any upsets. And so, yeah, that's that. Well, we didn't see any ranked upsets, I should say. But uh-oh, no, I don't want to do LSU first. I want to do... I realized I didn't have all of my graphics, and now... Sorry, guys. 1 second. Okay, here we go. I was like, where's the right graphic? Okay. Anyway, let's start out talking about the SEC. We're gonna do SEC first, then Big 10, Big 12, ACC, and UConn, because there was a lot that happened this weekend, and I wanted to kind of categorize it all together, so we can kind of know what is going on. Amelia says we got ice in Atlanta, and they can't handle that. Hey. Cold will get you. Cold will get you. All right. 1 foot of snow in Rochester, New York. I'm not surprised. Not surprised about that at all. You guys get a lot of snow up there. Y'all are used to it. Sweet Pearl says, good morning. 5 to 7 inches in Baltimore. Wow, that's a lot. We didn't get a ton of snow here. I don't know how much it is. Probably like, I don't know, 4 inches, maybe 5 inches, something like that. It was the timing of the snow that actually was a huge issue. It didn't just snow overnight. It like snowed like during the early mornings of the day. And I don't know if a lot of people were out or what, but yeah. Anyway, let's get into it with the first story of the day. And I want to talk about South Carolina, who they were coming off a really terrible loss against Oklahoma. A loss where it was not a talent issue. It was an effort issue. And I'm sure as they went into their next practice, Don Staley lit a fire in them. And they came out swinging against Vandy. Came out swinging. They ended up taking down Vanderbilt in a huge fashion. Hold on, let me turn off my heat. It's always too loud. It's like it waits until I go live and then it turns on. It's crazy. It is crazy. Oh, yes. LL Kune says, random, but Dom finally dunked in a game. Thank you so much for the super chat, LL Kune. Yes. Dominique Malunga, we waited to see her dunk in the WNBA this past season. In her rookie year, she did not dunk in a game. She would always dunk before the game. Basically every game she dunked before the game. But never in a game. And we were wondering when it would happen when it would happen in a rival, and it did happen this weekend. She didn't post anybody yet, but it was fun to see. Absolutely, absolutely, positively. All right. But yeah. Oh, you all don't hear the heat turn on? Okay, I just do. It's just very loud in my ears. It's just very, very loud in my ears. That's all. All right. Anyway. We saw South Carolina take down Vandy 103-74. And this game was over from the start of it. And we saw a change that probably initiated some of the early flair for South Carolina. We saw Agat McKeer end up getting the starting lineup, getting a starting nod for yesterday's game. We did see, her get the start because there was a question mark of okay, if your post players aren't going to show a lot of effort early on, like they're not going to show a lot of effort, well then put them on the bench. And that's exactly what Dawn did for Medina. She started McKeer, and when Medina came in the game, dog, she was a beast. Aggressive, assertive on both the offensive and defensive end, and she looked great. And sometimes you got to say, you know what? You got to go to the bench. Go to the bench and come off the bench, and I need you to give me some effort. I need you to play like a starter off the bench. That's what Medina did. And hey, it worked out really well. It worked out really, really well. We saw from the get-go in this game, the defense was a huge priority for South Carolina. They had active hands throughout, ended up getting a steal in the first couple minutes of the game. And you wind up seeing 12 steals for South Carolina. They end up forcing 20 turnovers for Vandy. And that's really what won the game. Yes, South Carolina was scoring from everywhere, right? They were knocking down threes. They were getting to the rim. They were being very, very efficient. But also, their defense is really what made it happen, because offensively, Vandy can score, right? We all know that they can score, and they can get up there with the best of them, and we see exactly what happened. We see exactly what happened in this game because of the defensive prowess of South Carolina. They can defend if they want to. Seemed like they decided yesterday that they want to. Because sometimes it's just, you see Raven kind of doing her thing on defense, and that's about it. But yesterday, all 5 players, for the most part, were playing defense. And all 5 players, for the most part, were playing unselfish offensive basketball. Passing the basketball, not doing dumb things, going against several players, trying to squeeze in between them. They're more of passing the basketball and making stuff happen. That was something that I thought was a big improvement from the last game. For Vandy, this is a team that was once undefeated. They are undefeated no more, as they end up losing yesterday. In this game, it really was an issue with Vandy playing defense. South Carolina were clicking on all cylinders when it came to offense, and Vandy couldn't do anything to stop them. Now, in my opinion, Vanderbilt is a pretty good defensive team, or at least, from the games we've seen so far this year. They're a pretty good defensive team, and they couldn't do anything to stop South Carolina. And this game, yeah, sure, I expected South Carolina to win. I didn't expect them to win by as much as they did, and it was because of the uncharacteristically bad defense. Bad defense for Vandy, and their inability to score beyond Michaela Blakes. Now, we all know Michaela Blakes is going to get hers. 23 points in yesterday's game. She is, in my opinion, the undisputed SEC MVP this year. She is flat out amazing, and Michaela Blake's, though she was a bit inefficient yesterday, she was trying to make stuff happen for her team. She was doing everything she possibly could to get this dub. But at the end of the day, her teammates were not able to help her out. They weren't. So Michaela gets hers, but ultimately Vandy gets cooked. 103 South Carolina, 74 Vanderbilt. And there's a lot of ways. There's a lot of ways that that a loss is good. You know? Is it what is it? Fantasia? Sometimes you gotta lose to win the game. Cause have you ever needed a loss so bad? Sometimes you gotta lose to win the game. And hey, South Carolina needed to lose to Oklahoma to get a wake-up call. And maybe Vanderbilt needed to lose in this way to South Carolina for their own wake-up call, because Vandy has some huge, huge, huge games to play coming up. And so we'll see what happens. They do play Ole Miss next, and we'll see if they're able to rebound against them. And then they got Kentucky, and they got Oklahoma, then they got Texas, then they got the red-hot Georgia Bulldogs, who are just... They're cooking. They're cooking, okay? So I'm just saying. Just saying. Bars. Bars. All right? Anyway, let's move on to the next SEC game that I wanted to talk about a little bit. And that is Oklahoma, who survive. Also in the ticker below, you'll see all SEC games. All SEC games, whether I talk about them or not, are in the ticker below. And then when we move on, those respective conferences will be there. All right? We also saw Oklahoma play a very, very close game against Auburn, a game that I actually thought that Oklahoma was about to lose. I believe I tweeted about it. This game was way closer than I expected, but Oklahoma did ultimately pull out a win in the stretch. The score was 72 Oklahoma, Auburn 65. And again, Oklahoma was fresh off of their big win against South Carolina. They were feeling really, really good. They're still on the road, and they end up facing against a Auburn team who can, yes, they're not very good in the SEC right now, but they have a brand new coach who I think he's going to do, was Larry Vickers? He's going to do some big things in SEC. Like, I feel it. I feel it that Auburn, give them about 2 years, and you're going to have to watch out, because I really do feel like Auburn is going to sort of be a problem for certain teams come 2-3 years down the road. Just saying. All right. They play against a Oklahoma team who is very, very good. And in yesterday's game, we saw Ariel Jackson from Auburn really light it up, making threes, making shots left and right. She ended up scoring the first 7 points in the fourth quarter, helping Auburn to ultimately kind of tie the game in multiple points in yesterday's game in the fourth quarter. But ultimately, it was some timely 3-point baskets for Aaliyah Chavez that kind of did the game in. Aaliyah Chavez ended up with 18 points in yesterday's game. We saw Ariel Jackson come off the bench with 19 points for Auburn. And ultimately, Oklahoma does their job. Reagan Beers doesn't score a ton in this game, only 13 points for her. But ultimately, Oklahoma was able to get the job done Oklahoma was able to get the job done in Auburn against a team that can, make some stuff happen at times. Okay? All right. So, with that being said, there were some other SEC games that I wanted to kind of talk about a little bit. And I want to talk about just real quick, Alabama, they end up getting a dub against Mississippi State. Again, Mississippi State is one of those teams in the SEC that's not very good, but at times they can play well. And at times, they might be able to get you. Ultimately, they tried yesterday against Mississippi State, but on the road, they were not able to get the job done against Alabama, as Bama wins 85-78. We saw Timmons dominate in this one, 28 points for her, leading the charge for Bama. All right. Now, let's continue on. I don't have a graphic for this, but I wanted to talk about it. We did technically have one. Actually, not technically. We did have one upset yesterday or over the weekend, and that was on Saturday, as Georgia, the Georgia Bulldogs, took down the Kentucky Wildcats 72-67. Georgia needs to be ranked. Hands down, Georgia needs to be a ranked squad. This is a team that has only lost 3 games so far this year, and all of the 3 games have been in SEC play. They lost to Ole Miss, they lost to South Carolina, they lost to LSU. This team is good. They're good. Yeah, they didn't have the toughest of non-con teams, but again, you take down Kentucky, right? The number 11 team in the country, and you hold your own against the other SEC teams that you lost to, right? I'm just saying. They need to be ranked. Georgia Bulldogs is coming for everybody in the SEC. That's all I got to say. They do play Bama and Tennessee next. 2 games that I think are going to be huge for Georgia to kind of, again, move up there in the rankings. Yeah. Dog. Georgia. They mean some business, all right? You already took down 2 ranked teams this year. You destroyed Ole Miss, and you took down Kentucky yesterday. The number 11 and number 16 team you beat this year. So can Georgia get ranked? I'm just saying, can Georgia get ranked? Because the SEC is a deep conference with a lot of teams that are ranked quality, top 25 teams. Just saying. Put them on the board. Okay? You got to do it. Also, guys, we do have, and some other SEC news, we do have LSU playing today. We don't see a ton of SEC games on a Monday, and so when we have one, I got to talk about it because this is a game that you all do not want to miss. There was a change in schedule for today's game against, for today's LSU versus Florida game. It's happening at 6 p.m. my time, 7 p.m. Eastern time. It was a slight change. If you all want to watch the game, it's going to be on the SEC. LSU versus Florida. Classes, I guess, are canceled, and so they're giving away these really cool design sweatshirts, LSU sweatshirts to the first, I believe it's 500 students. So if y'all are LSU student, go to the game super early so you can get an awesome looking sweatshirt. This is why I wish I was able to go to all the college games, because I would love to have just like a bunch of random sweatshirts and t-shirts and whatnot from the various giveaways. Because hey, these colleges be doing some giveaways. And also I saw that for UConn they're offering a Geno Auriemma bobblehead. And so who does not want really, really cool swag? So yeah, LSU versus Florida later today. Depending on how the game goes, I might do a live stream afterwards. Just depends. Okay? All right, let's move on to the Big Ten. And I want to actually kind of talk about adversity, because how teams respond to adversity kind of tells you about who they really, really are. And for Iowa, they walked into Sunday's game against Ohio State ready to play. And in the first minute of the game, Taylor McCabe goes down, ends up having a knee injury, goes off the court, doesn't come back into the game. A really devastating injury for Iowa. We don't exactly know what the real status of her injury is. We did see her on the bench with ice wrapped around her knee. This could possibly be a very, very bad injury, but we don't know. As time goes on, we'll be to find out exactly what happened to Taylor McCabe yesterday and whatnot, and definitely prayers for her for whatever that injury is. It didn't look great at all, but she goes down again a minute into the game. Emotions are high when you see a player, one of your teammates, go down to a point where they can't even come back in the game, and so you have to step up. Everybody has to step up. And we saw Addie Deal come off the bench and fill in the gap big time. She was absolutely huge in yesterday's game. Ultimately, 20 points for Addie Deal. And of course, you always got the usual suspects for Iowa. You got Chit Chat Wright, who I love watching her play. Chit Chat Wright is like one of the funnest players to watch. I don't know. It's her name that is fun to say, and it's also just her ability to kind of do whatever her team needs her to do. Chit Chat Wright is a scorer. A lot of times she defers to pass, but when she decides, okay, I want to shoot, she can knock down some buckets and make some stuff happen. We saw Hannah Stokey and Ava Hayden tag team for 18 points apiece. We saw Hannah get 15 rebounds, Ava 8. And Iowa was able to withstand that adversity due to that injury and ultimately cook Ohio State 91-70. All right. In the Big Ten, we also saw some other games as well. We saw Michigan take down USC. We saw UCLA take down Northwestern. Not a surprise in that one at all. But yeah, big games. Those were. We also did see Nebraska barely take down Illinois. Final score in that one was 81, Nebraska 75, Fighting Illini. All right, and as we see all these games, we didn't see a really much in terms of upsets, at least ranked upsets. But you gotta recognize that it's gotten a lot realer in women's college basketball, and I personally love it. I love it. Anyone know something else I love? Factor. Factor is the meal company that I really enjoy because at this point, I'm busy. I got a lot of stuff going on, and it is very difficult sometimes for me to figure out what I want to eat or what I can eat. Eating healthy while also making sure that I'm actually eating what I'm supposed to and I'm not like starving throughout the day because I didn't eat because I'm busy doing something. And so I, at this point in my life, enjoy putting something in the microwave, warming it up for a couple minutes, and eating some delicious food. I can cook, however, at this moment in my life, I am not in a position where I have the time to cook. And this is where Factor absolutely comes in because they provide quality, functional ingredients including lean proteins, colorful veggies, and whole food ingredients. And they provide it right at your door. There's no refined sugars. There's no artificial sweeteners. There's no refined seed oils. They just give you meals that fit your goals and your schedule. Whether you want to eat healthier, whether you want to manage your calories, whether you want more protein, or whether you're just me and you just want something good to eat. They are your source because they provide a variety of meals with 100 rotating weekly meals that you can pick from. Whatever your dietary restrictions are, it's almost a guarantee that Factor has food that you can eat. It is always fresh, never frozen food, and it's ready in about 2 to 2.5 minutes in the microwave. No prep, no stress, just quality meals being sent to your house. It's great. It's great. And if you want to try out Factor, check them out and use my code. You can head to factormeals.com/Quita50off and use code Quita50off to get 50% off your first Factor box plus free breakfast for 1 year. The offer is only valid for new Factor customers with code and qualifying auto-renewing subscription purchase. You can make healthier eating easier with Factor. All right, let's continue on. Now let's go to the Big 12. First, let me answer Jeff Blaze. So Jeff Blaze says, how often does the top 25 AP poll come out? It comes out every Monday, usually right after the stream is over. So in a couple of hours, we will see the top 25. All right. Okay. Anyway, let's get to it. And let's actually talk about the Big 12 because the Big 12 is TCU country, right? We expect TCU to do their big one. And they have been, kind of making it happen in the Big 12. In the Big 12 over the weekend, we did see, TCU take down UCF 67-50 with Olivia Miles, really trying her best to show all of these scouts, all these WNBA scouts. She's trying her best to show, hey, I can lead your team. I can be the point guard for your squad. Now, doesn't have the best defense, but offensively, Olivia Miles can absolutely get it. She can absolutely get it and make some stuff happen. So TCU is continuing to kind of do their thing. Yeah, that one was a closer game, but yeah, they're rocking and rolling. 7-1 in Big 12 play, I should say. We also saw Texas Tech, a team that lost twice. They lost twice in a row against Kansas State and BYU, and they were able to get back on the winning foot against Utah over the weekend. They destroyed Utah 77-49. Sometimes you gotta lose twice to win the next game. Again, Fantasia coming in clutch. Literally, I think that's the only Fantasia song I know. We also, speaking of BYU ran into a buzzsaw that was West Virginia, who took them down 91-77. Sydney Woodley absolutely dominated in this one. Delaney Gibb is a shooter for sure for BYU, but ultimately she was not able to withstand the combined prowess of West Virginia. Take me home, country road. All right, sometimes I feel like I have too much fun doing these live streams. Another game I wanted to talk about real quick was have you ever seen 4 players end a game? Have you ever seen a situation where not 1, not 2, not 3, not 4, but 5 players get fouled out in a game. If you've never seen it, go back and watch Saturday's game between Iowa State and Arizona. Guys, it was madness. So many fouls in this game. Count them, 31 fouls for Arizona. 31. That's a lot of fouls. That's a lot of fouls, guys. 31 fouls. 5 players get fouled out. You got a player who's hurt. And so, to end the game, 4 players on the court. 4 players on the court for Arizona as they get demolished by Iowa State. Here's the thing. Even if Iowa State played bad in this one, you playing against 4 players, of course, you're going to ultimately destroy the team. Like, dog, what we talking about? What are we talking about? Insanity. Insanity. The whistles were blowing constantly. 90 Iowa State, 65 Arizona. Again, 31 fouls for Arizona. They shot themselves in the foot. Arizona shot the ball well. Relatively. They shot the ball pretty well. This is a team that is trying to make some stuff happen. They're not very good right now at all in the Big 12, but if you keep fouling people, yeah, you ain't gonna be able to do nothing. Iowa State had 31 free throws in yesterday's game, made 20 of them. And they win. Jada Williams, who's fresh off of her career high, ended up having the game high in this one, 19 points to lead the charge for Iowa State. She led also in assists as well as turnovers, 7 and 7 for both of those metrics, which basically cancel out, in my opinion, to basically 0. But she was knocking down shots. She was knocking down shots when she needed to. And Audie Crooks was scoring as well. She ended up with 17 points. But again, if you're fouling like crazy, yeah, you're gonna get killed. Like, there is no ifs, ands, or buts around it. Okay, I'm just saying. I am just saying. All right, let's continue on. Let's quickly talk about the ACC because there were some games that I want to mention real quick. So Duke is definitely on a bit of a surge as of late. They just look together. And again, I really credit their tougher non-conference schedule and some of the losses that they face. And right now, they are just rolling. They're absolutely rolling. They dominated against Duke. Duke dominated against Duke. Duke dominated against Pitt over the weekend. And I just want to quickly share a awesome fun fact, awesome shout out to Tiana Mayer. So, guys, did you all know that as of yesterday, Tiana Mayer has joined an elite squad at Duke? You all know Elena Beard, one of the greatest Duke players to ever pick up a basketball. You all know Lindsey Harding, same, right? 2 absolute legends of the women's college game and who went on to the WNBA to do big things. You all know those names. You can add Tiana Mayer to that list because Elena Beard, Lindsey Harding, and Tiana Mayer are a part of an elite squad at Duke who have scored 1,000 points, 500 assists, and 500 rebounds. Only 3 players have ever done that in Duke's history, and we all know how big of a legacy Duke has, and for Tiana Mayer to be included in that elite group, I just think it's kind of cool. I just want to give a shout out to Tiana Mayer for sticking with it and doing her big one for Duke. Now again, is she one of the best play? Like here's the thing with Tiana Mayer. Tiana Mayer is not like, she is someone who gives a lot of effort, right? A lot of effort on the court, and you gotta love to see it. Like not necessarily always the most talented player on the court, but she is gonna give like some of the most effort, some of the best effort on the court. Tiana Mayer, night in and night out. And you just love to see it. You absolutely love to see it. We also saw over the weekend Louisville take down Boston College. We saw NC State survive, and I mean barely survive against Virginia, not West Virginia, but just Virginia. They ended up having to go to overtime in that one, and Zoe Brooks was flat out insane in the membrane. 37 points for Zoe. And that was on Saturday. Yesterday we did see Notre Dame get got again. This time not as a ranked team. And ended up losing to Clemson 65-58. Hannah does her thing, but again, if it's just Hannah and nobody else, Notre Dame's losing. They absolutely are losing. We did see North Carolina barely take down Syracuse in overtime. And that one, it was a 6-point win for the Tar Heels. All right. And finally, let's end talking about UConn. So on my streams lately, I feel like I haven't really talked about UConn really at all. And I kind of feel bad about it in a way. So I'm like, you know what? Let me just spend some time and talk about UConn. A reminder, UConn is the best team in the country. A reminder. Also, a reminder, they don't play in a Power 4 conference. And UConn, at this point, I think it's pretty much a guarantee, they will walk into the NCAA tournament undefeated. There is no real challenging games coming up for them that I anticipate them to possibly lose from. They do play Tennessee on February the 1st, which is going to be a fun game to watch. I do think they're going to pretty easily take down Tennessee. I hope it's a really competitive game. I don't know if it really will be. And the reason why UConn is so good. Now, yes, sure, they play in the Big East, but even if they didn't, this team has some bona fide stars on it. And it starts with a big woman, Sarah Strong. Sarah Strong, she has WNBA level footwork. Some of her moves, I'm like, dog. You could, at this moment, you can walk into the WNBA and find your way on a roster. No problem. This is someone who can not only get to the rim kind of at will, she can also knock down threes, right? She can do a little bit of everything on the court. Sarah Strong is I just can't wait till she goes to the WNBA. I just can't. I just cannot wait because I don't feel like we have seen totally what she has to offer. Because, I mean, she didn't really have to dominate like that in the Big East. She just doesn't. Another player who I can't wait to watch her play in the WNBA is AZ Foot. AZ Foot right now is averaging about 17 points a game for UConn. She is knocking down threes, getting to the rim, getting that mid-range jumper. She has one of the purest shots in women's basketball, flat out. Not even women's college basketball, women's basketball, period. She has one of the best looking shots. And she can play defense. So I'm just saying, when it comes to the WNBA draft, AZ Foot gonna get picked pretty high. I'm just saying, get picked pretty high. And then you round out the rest of the squad with, a transfer in Sarah Williams. And yeah, some people may say, oh, Sarah Williams went to UConn just to have less stats. Yeah, she did. Yeah. Sarah Williams, SERAH, could be scoring 20 plus points a game with some other team in the country. But she decided to go to UConn because she wants to play with the best. And she is, night in and night out. Is she scoring the most points? No, she's not. But don't get it twisted. Just because she's scoring around 7 points a game, if injuries happen and she really needs to step up, I know for a fact she'll do that and she would dominate. This is why UConn is so good. And then you got my favorite player on UConn, and that is Blanca Quinones, who is a freshman, y'all, who is just doing big things. I love watching her game so far this year. Before the season started, honestly, guys, I didn't know anything about her. She's an international player, and I mean, I knew that UConn was getting a good player named Blanca Quinones. I'd never watched her play until this year for UConn, and her motor, her hustle, and her shot selection is just elite. It just is elite. And again, she's a freshman, y'all. So y'all better watch out. We got several more years of her. And then you got KK, who is having a really good season, sort of acting as a point guard for this team. And she's doing her thing and sort of leading the charge for the five on the court. And you know, KK is doing her thing. Ashton Shade is doing her thing, knocking down buckets left and right. This UConn team, you go down the line of all of some of the top players. That's why they're number one. That's why. No one can stop them. Like, at this point, I mean, again, they are in the Big East, but at this point, no one can stop them. So it is what it is. If they were in the SEC, would they have a loss at this point? Probably. But they're in the Big East. They're in the Big East. All right? And at this point, I don't see them losing. I don't see them losing. Jasper says the UConn glazing is out of control. It is OC out of control. I mean, here's the thing. If you're talking about the best team in the country, they're the best team for a reason. Again, I've acknowledged several times they play in the Big East, which is not challenging. But the next non-conference game they play against Tennessee, they're going to dominate them. And so they're going to be undefeated. They got some fantastic players who are WNBA ready players in both AZ and Sarah. I said Sarah Strong was WNBA ready last year. Like, she just is. They just got great players. All right. King Lion Crown says, I actually disagree. They are beatable and they are stoppable. Here's the thing. Yes, if they were in another conference, yes. Again, if they were in the SEC, they probably would have lost. They probably had at least one loss. Because, I mean, no one's getting out of the SEC without a loss. No one. I'm not trying to allude to the fact that they're invincible, period. I'm saying this year they are invincible during the regular season because who in the Big East is beating them? And they only playing Tennessee left. That's it. So, yeah. Do you think Tennessee is going to beat UConn? Do you think DePaul is going to beat UConn? Who do you think is going to beat UConn? I don't know. Let me go down the list and let me know. Let me know who is beating UConn this season. The NCAA tournament's a different story. I'm not talking about the NCAA tournament. I'm talking about conference play and non-conference play that's left for UConn, which is the game against Tennessee. So let me know. Let me know if I'm glazing too much, if I am if I'm acting like they're invincible. Who's taking them down in the Big East and Tennessee? Now, if Tennessee take them down, I think that'd be awesome. I think that would be awesome. Okay? But at this point, I don't see it. I don't see it. And if you do, tell me. I would like to learn. Okay? I would like to learn. Anyway, over the weekend, UConn beat Seton Hall pretty easily. It was a 90-point victory, 92-57. This was their 43rd straight win against Seton Hall. Again, it just shows how dominant UConn is in the Big East. It is what it is. Not too much to write home about because it's standard fare. Standard fare. But yes, anybody and everybody can and will get got. That is for sure. That is for sure. Okay. Anyway, I always do this. I don't know why I keep doing that. Anyway, that's the stream. Thank y'all so much for watching. Make sure to hit that like button, hit that subscribe button for more commentary all about women's basketball. If women's basketball is your thing, this channel should be your watch. Every single day, I will have a stream in the morning on this channel. And so, yeah, I guess I'll catch y'all. I'll catch y'all tomorrow. Oh, I'm so sorry. I missed the super chat. Thank you so much, Telly, for the super chat. Says UConn will be 40-0 after the final buzzer on April the 5th. I mean, Telly, that's a bold claim. That is a bold claim. Hey, we'll see. I'm not saying. I'm saying that I feel like they are a NCAA championship team. Now, again, will they actually get there? Who knows? Will it be great if none of the top teams get in the championship game? Yes, in my opinion, because I think it'd be funner. At this point, UConn will be the number 1 overall seed. Because they haven't lost a game. And again, conference play has something to do with it. But UConn has tried, as an institution, UConn has tried to get out of the Big East, I should say. And they have tried unsuccessfully to get out. So it's not the women's basketball team's fault that they play in the Big East. It's really their football team's fault because their football team isn't good enough to play in one of the Power 4 teams, and so that's why they're in the Big East. All right. Yes. Can we please get to 100 likes? That really would be amazing. Okay. Tisha says the advantage UConn gets by being in a cupcake conference is that they don't go into the tournament with the wear and tear of playing high-stake games all year like teams from the SEC. That is 100% correct. 100%. Whereas UConn, they pick a more challenging non-conference schedule early in the season. So they kind of get tested early, and then they kind of coast through conference play. And they're really nice and rested and all that stuff for the NCAA tournament. Though in the past we've seen tons of injuries for UConn, so that hasn't really happened totally that way. But it does absolutely create an advantage that UConn has over all these other teams. All right. Anyway, that's the stream. Thank y'all so much for watching. Make sure to hit that like, hit that subscribe. And why do I keep doing this? Ugh. Okay. And I will see y'all in the next one. Until next time, guys. Bye-bye.
Are you ready?
Ready, set, go.